So let's talk about Monday. Let's talk about the Wings of Redemption interview that happened right here on the Level 1 podcast. First of all, that podcast obviously did incredibly well views-wise. We had, at one point, over 1,000 viewers between Kick and YouTube watching live at once. And as you know, I rarely break 1,000 viewers ever these days. Like for gameplay, like never. But if I do a special event, an interview or whatever, it's very rare when I would do that, and we did. We had over 1,000 viewers, which was awesome. The interview itself with Wings lasted about 2 hours, and we covered a wide variety of topics, including a little bit of our history and similarity being YouTubers around the same time frame and the levels of things that have happened to us over the years, including trolling, but also how we dealt with places like Machinima, YouTube, Twitch, and more. We talked about gaming in general, Battlefield particularly, which is the game that Wings has been playing recently. We talked about how I feel that Wings sadly gets baited by a lot of his viewers and or even moderators into giving clip farming content. I tried to give him some advice about his streams and about his health. He talked to me about things like WWE champions and pro wrestling and things like that. And overall, I think it was a pretty good interview. I actually feel like, in regards to that interview, okay, unlike other interviews where I had to like prepare for them and I had to go into them with like set stuff, that interview, outside of me just watching a few detractor videos about Wings ahead of time, and you might say, well, why did you do that? Because it gave me an idea of what the current public perception is of Wings of Redemption. If I hadn't done that, I would be going in blind and not knowing what people are talking about, how they're perceiving him, and I wouldn't know how to help him, right? By knowing what people are saying about this guy, by watching a few detractor videos, it allowed me to figure out, hey, this is what's going on with this guy and what people are saying, so maybe we can get around that or help him with some things that are going negative for him, right? And I think it went well in that regard. I think like that interview, 2 hours, okay? It went like this. Like it didn't feel like 2 hours. It felt like 20 minutes. It felt like we had just sat down to talk and 2 hours had passed. And to be honest, I think it would have even gone longer, but I told him I wanted to do 2 hours. I didn't want the interview to go on forever. And I want to give you guys a taste of what that kind of an interview could be to see if you liked it. What if I had done it and everyone said, oh, this sucked ass? Well, then I didn't want to go any longer. The thing is, you also don't want to give too much in one go. If people really liked what they saw, then you're going to want more. You're going to ask for more. And then I can plan on, working on giving you more. So that interview, for the record, okay, so far over 14,000 views and climbing. Hasn't even been live for 2 days yet. And that's a great viewership for something on this channel. All right. So that's excellent. And thank you guys who have watched it and checked it out. It is, by the way, it's available pure archive on demand. I just left the stream as is. I didn't do anything. You can just watch it right now and enjoy it for what it is, archived on the channel. You don't have to look for videos that I saved and split up. It's just all right there. And you can watch it and enjoy it. Okay? So, in general, what's the feedback that I'm receiving? I'll be honest with you, overwhelmingly positive. Okay? Overwhelmingly positive feedback. People are saying, best interview you've ever done. We want more. You could basically do a series like this where it's very worthwhile for everyone watching. Because, for example, I could just do another interview with Wings where it's just us talking again, and we just hit upon various topics or whatever. Or we could actually do something that's basically targeted. Maybe we have a set topic or topics that we want to talk about that we can both add something to from our unique perspectives or our unique takes on that topic, okay? So that's interesting because I think shooting from the hip, just talking about whatever worked, but also we could actually have targeted discussion about important things too. It could be anything. It could be about the gaming industry. It could be about content creation, Twitch or YouTube, whatever, right? It could really be about anything, right? So that's cool that I got that feedback. Now, the other feedback I got is, oh, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. You could do gaming and stuff too. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that the gaming aspect would even work. And if you want to know why, it's because, as I've been saying recently, audiences want to tune into streams where the streamer themselves can be an interactive part of it and interact with those who are watching and support it. If I'm on a stream with Wings of Redemption and we're playing a game together like Battlefield, guess what we're going to be doing the entire time? Communicating and talking about Battlefield and playing Battlefield. We're not going to be reading our chats. We're not going to be doing shout outs. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to be paying any attention to you. Instead, it's just going to be us interacting to try to win. And that's really not where content creation succeeds for guys like us in 2025. I'm just going to be honest. That's what I tried to relay to him in the interview. You're trying to play Battlefield and you're grinding like it's 10, 15 years ago and like your audience cares if you're a top-level player. They don't. People are not tuning into a Wings of Redemption stream or a DSP gaming stream to see us be top-level players in anything. Okay? They're tuning in because they want to see us have a good time, interact with an audience, right? And have that level of a little bit of social interaction, but at the same time put out something entertaining. It's not going to be being hardcore dedicated to whatever we're playing anymore. Like, to be honest, like maybe there was a time ages ago where if I grinded in Street Fighter and I did really well, people would care. And maybe there was a time ages ago if Wings grinded so hard in FPS games, people would care. But I just don't think that that's the case anymore. In the case of, say, for example, Call of Duty, right? I think that Call of Duty works because it's fast-paced action, it's shorter matches, you can play it in various different ways and be successful. Like one match, you could go all melee build, running around stabbing and getting all the buffs and bonuses. Next match, you can just snipe. Next match, you go with an LMG. Next match, all shotties. And it actually works. It's entertaining in that regard. It's a challenge and stuff. But also, I could be talking with you guys, interacting with you. It's not like that with Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? And same thing, if I was trying to do teaming up with him and playing, I don't think that would work. But I think what we did, the show where you hang out, you talk about various topics, whether it's targeted or not, that's what people kind of want to see, because that's not what you see. What do you see every day when you're tuning into me? Me talking about topics, playing games, and interacting with you. What do you not see? Me interacting with somebody else. So give people what they want because it's not the common thing, right? But I think the key here, this is my perspective now, is to not do it often. Don't do it 10 times a week. Don't even do it once a week. Do it every once in a while. Maybe every once in a while, you say, hey, I get together with Wings and we sit down and we do a show that's just a, shoot the shit show and see how people like it. Okay? Now, you might say, what is Wings' take on this? I have no idea. He told me he liked the show. He liked doing it. Since then, I tried asking his opinion and stuff, and he hasn't really said much. Basically, at first he was like, just so you know, I don't really like talking via chatting like this behind the scene. I just don't like that. And I was like, well, that's fine. If that's the case, I'd like to talk to you to get your thoughts about how it went. What are your viewers saying about how it went? Did they like it? Has it benefited you on your own streams? Are you getting anything positive out of having done this? Whether it's just we chat on Discord or we chat on XDMs or we have a call. I just want his feedback, his actual reaction to what happened. So far, I haven't gotten it. I've asked and I haven't really gotten a response. But I think that's par for the course for Wings. That's how he is. He literally brushes you off. He puts it off. Then maybe he'll respond in 5 days. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Okay. So I guess we'll see. So let's find out when I finally get a response. Okay. Personally, like I said, I think doing stuff every once in a while with him might work. I don't think that doing stuff regularly, it's going to work at all, right? Okay. So let's see what happens. I'll let you know. But I'd still like your feedback on what did you think? Did you like it? And do you want to see more? Like maybe every once in a while we have a show together where we just sit down and we talk. There's a special edition of the Level 1 podcast with Wings as a guest, and we just get caught up on what's going on with him, and we talk about various topics and go from there, right? Because this is the thing. A lot of people are saying it's not, just understand, it's not, this is not something new. Like, this is how he is. He isn't regularly available. He doesn't respond a lot. But then all of a sudden he'll get excited, and then all of a sudden the excitement will die out again. Again, I don't know the guy. You guys know him way better than I do. You know, if that's the case, then I guess that makes sense. And go from there. So I don't know. But I enjoyed, let me put it this way. I enjoyed doing it. I would do it again. I just don't want to do it all the time. It's just like other things that I tried this year. Smart Guys was working until it became a weekly thing and too common, then it got boring. Building Legos was working until we got to the third major Lego build and it got boring, right? So to do something like this every once in a while, I think it would go well as long as it's not too often. The thing is, you need buy-in. And it's funny because I will directly answer something that was asked to me after Wings had left. Someone asked me the question, Bill, would you ever start to do something regularly with Jordy? Would you consider doing a regular show with Jordy? Like I even said, you know what is catchy to me? Wings and the King. I don't know why that's catchy, but like I think Wings and the King. That sounds like a good name for a show, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I thought that sounded pretty catchy. I was like, that could be a good show where it's just us hanging out every once in a while. Wings and the King, right? But there is one big factor, the big elephant in the room, okay? There's a reason why I can't really or don't want to even consider committing to anything like that. And here's what it is. At the very end of the interview with Wings, I asked him the question, are you done with Lol Cow Live? And his answer was, I'm done with it now, but I might go back to it if I need the money. To which case, I just got to shake my head and be like, well, if that's the case, then how could I ever commit to do something with Wings? Because at any moment, he could decide he's not making enough money. And because of that, he could just turn tail and run and say, I'm done with this. I'm done with the show with you because we're not making enough. I got to go back to what makes me money, acting like a complete clown on myself and going back to Keemstar. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I put time, effort, money, and other things into a show. The show is successful, but he still decides that he wants to run away and go back to Lol Cow to make bank, and this leaves me high and dry. I hope that makes sense to you guys, that I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Plus, as you know, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want to say to you guys, oh, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's start up a show. And then the show gets canceled because he wants to go back to Keemstar. All right? So, I understand Swaggy P says, well, he just doesn't want to close the door on easy money. I totally understand that. And listen, the way that he explained it to me, all right, made sense. Here's what he told me in the interview, okay? He said, basically, because he did what he did for the year and a half, he degraded himself, he embarrassed himself, he publicly made a spectacle of himself, he made enough money that now he has security where he could take time away to figure out what he wants to do. He wants to build his channel back up to be self-sufficient. Right now it's not, but he has the time to work on it. If he didn't have the Lol Cow money, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And now I kind of get that. He even said something I respect him for a lot. He said, I don't want to be the guy that as I get older, because I have all these health problems, now I got to go to the government and I have to live off government funding and government assistance to pay for everything. I want to be able to support my family myself. And that's what that Lol Cow money was for, was to be that nest egg that he can draw upon to pay for himself as he gets older and has health problems, and his wife has health problems and everything, so he doesn't have to go on government assistance. Okay? 1,000,000%. All right? 1,000,000%. I understand that. Okay? 1,000,000%. I can't even argue with that. I can't dispute it. I can't. I get it. To him, it didn't matter that he embarrassed himself and degraded himself and lowered himself and made him look like a clown, because he made the money that it helps his family. All right? I get that. I guess I'm happy that I'm in a life position and a work position where I don't have to do that, and I'm still successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be in the situation he was in, but I'm not. And I'm grateful for that you guys come by and engage and support with my content enough that I'm not having to be a clown somewhere in order to try to make ends meet. In fact, I'm doing better right now than I have been doing in many, many, many years. And it's doing what I want to do. The content I want to do, not self-deprecating, embarrassing bullshit that's for fucking morons, but instead gameplay, hangout sessions, social interactions, meaningful content. Okay? That's excellent. So again, every day I want you to understand how grateful I am to all of you for allowing me to do what I love for a living, for letting me live the dream. Things are going well right now. Okay? Thank you for that. Okay? But basically, yeah, like that. What gets me is I wish that Wings could be in a position where he could say, you know, I really don't want to go back to Lalcal, and I'm never going to. But he can't. He's afraid that at any moment, the rug can be pulled out from under him, and he's just not making enough money on his channel. And then he has to go back to Lalcal. So, I don't know. I'm trying to help him. I gave him advice. I said, dude, you got to stop playing Battlefield. You tell you right now, your audience is not going to support it. What does he do? He went right back to playing Battlefield. He's been playing it for 2 straight days, and his streams aren't doing well. I'm just being honest. Like, I think one stream he made like $60, then he made like $90, and then one stream he made like nothing. It's like, you're playing Battlefield. You're just talking with your group. No one on chat is engaged. No one's going to care. I think he'll probably do better when he goes back to Call of Duty in a 2.5 weeks or so. I think then he'll do better. But right now, playing Battlefield ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Buckwell says, you're not in a position to give advice. Buckwell, my streams do well. I hit my goals. I exceed my goals. I'm doing way better than he is on his streams. I'm in a great position to give advice because I'm where he wants to be doing content. If he could be doing what I'm doing right now on his gameplay streams, he'd be ecstatic. So what the fuck are you talking about? In what realm of reality do you think I'm doing poorly? Please explain how you think I'm doing poorly for myself right now. Dude, yesterday I sat here for 3.5 hours just shooting the shit with my audience, playing Pokemon. And I made almost $400 playing Pokemon. The point is, my content is working, his isn't, and I'm trying to help him. But he has to also be willing to want to listen to help. And I don't think that right now, like, I don't think that he thinks that anything that I told him is going to really help him, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know what he's doing ain't working with the Battlefield stuff. I know that for a fact. He needs to change it up and do something different. He's doing Dark Souls streams, and he calls them depression streams. And he makes more money on that than he does playing Battlefield. Okay. So why are you playing Battlefield? There you go. Anyway. Anyway, I liked how it went on Monday. Everyone else seems to be of the consensus. They like how it went on Monday. I agree with all of you. But you have to understand that basically he's not the kind of guy that's going to jump at something like that. He's very slow to even respond to stuff. I'm hoping to hear feedback from him to say, hey, either he liked it or he really hated it or whatever it is. I want to hear feedback from him. He seemed to be very positive on Monday, but sometimes this guy's attitude also changes after the fact. There's been times where he was happy about one thing, then a few days later, I regret I ever did it. Maybe he'll regret doing it. I don't know. But I'd love to hear more feedback from you guys on what you think. And I would absolutely consider doing something else for him in the future, just not often, because I don't want it to become so common that it's not special anymore. The reason that worked is because it was a first time ever thing, right? Here we go. Okay. So that's that. Let's see what happens. I would love to do more, but let's see what happens. I mean, he has to actually want to respond, and we'll go from there. Okay? Cool. Okay. The one thing I want to talk about before we get to the Capcom topic is currently what's going on in my schedule with all of these playthroughs and everything. Okay? so that you guys know exactly what's happening and, you know, what to expect in the next several weeks. Before we get to that, there's one thing we have to talk about. Support. What is going on with support? Right now, we have a $100 tip and like a small tip and a few kicks. What is going on? Let's get some support right now. Let's get some subs on Kick right now.